Again, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to begin at 2 o'clock. We have a few more minutes. And if you have not already muted your microphone, please do so, and we'll begin shortly. Thank you. Well, again, good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock. We're going to begin. I'm Paul Fry. I'm president of the Washington County Chamber of Commerce, and we're glad you're able to join us for this business town hall on outdoor recreation activities. We're expecting over 90 people. We're not quite there yet, but we're going to begin. We are recording this. And Danielle Weaver with the county is helping us. She's running the presentation for us. So welcome, Danielle. If we'll go to the first slide. How about the second slide? A feeling of helplessness. Here we go. Well, thank you, Danielle. Again, I'd like to welcome everybody for being on board here. We do have a number of, go back one more if you would, Danielle, please. Thank you.
Paul, you're breaking up.
All right, is this better? Danielle, is this better? All right, let's see. There you go. Danielle, is this better? All right,
yes,
I'm hearing.
I can hear you.
Okay,
now.
good. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know you can hear me. Again, we have a number of state and local elected officials on. I don't have a list for them.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't have a list of all the elected officials, but I do know we have a few folks on who are listening in and maybe resources. We have a number of county and city staff that could be resources. We do have some local health experts and our professionals. We have been working as a business response team here. You'll see the list of names and representatives, some of whom are on this call. We were meeting every day. Now we're meeting 3 times a week in the morning just to make sure we are responding to our businesses and community members here in Washington County. Some of them are on the call, and we'll hear from them as we need to today. So Danielle, next slide, please. Danielle, it might be you. Let's see here. Jim, can you still hear me? I know you sent me a chat, you could.
I can hear you, Paul.
All right. I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, there we go. All right. So again, if you could mute your phone, unless I ask you to hear their tablet computer. We are recording this presentation because we want to have it for folks who could make it or if you'd like to see it again. Again, we want to give you as much up-to-date information as possible with some guidance, and our goal is to open businesses in our community in a safe manner, and there will be time to answer questions. You can send a chat if you like, or you can also, at the time, ask them in person. Next slide, Danielle. Let's see here. All right, Danielle, I'm going to give you a thumbs up here. How's that? There we go. All right. So again, we have a chat feature. It's already posted for the webinar where you can get this slide information. Again, we'll send it out. We want to be accurate with our information. It's not legal advice. Review all state and local policies. And again, we don't want to be held responsible for errors and omissions. We're going to do our best. If you have questions, let us know. But again, there are good guidelines that we'll point you to here. So next slide, please, Danielle. All right. Again, it's not opening up our businesses, the economy, or health. It's both. And so we want to continue our social distancing and safe practices, monitor the key health statistics. We are doing this here with our health department and hospital. At Marinas, they're measuring 10 data points every single day. We have a dashboard, things like COVID testing, PPE availability, new COVID admissions, outbreaks, any days since doubling of cases. Of our 10 items we're looking at every day, 8 are in the green, 2 are in the yellow. So we will monitor those, and our goal is to stay in the green. And if we have any indications we're in a problem area, we'll have to back off some. So it's up to all of us to act in a safe manner and to follow the guidelines. Again, we want to help you all prepare to reopen and operate safely. We want to provide you support for resources, financials, and most importantly, we want to build confidence in our consumers, in your employees, and in the business owners, because we want people to come out. There's been some studies done. People are still wary about getting out. So the more we can follow the guidelines and show good public health examples, the better for everybody. All right, so you can see by this executive order, outdoor recreation has been able to open up. We'll go over these, each one: golf courses, outdoor archery shooting ranges, marinas, watercraft, campgrounds, drive-in movie theaters, outdoor swimming pools, day camps, and tour boats. Next slide. Again, the first stage is what we're in. It's subject to the discretion of local jurisdictions. And as you know, our county has opened to the fullest extent allowed by the governor. Stage 2, again, we hope will happen soon. Health officials will continue to monitor the data. And as we move into stage 2, which would include lifting the order on non-essential businesses, that could be coming shortly. But again, depends on us being safe and making sure our numbers don't increase. Next slide. Some general best practices. Now is the time to prepare if you're not quite open yet, especially if you're in office. There are some good CDC guidelines and OSHA guidance. Make sure your physical facility is ready for social distancing. Communicate your policies to everyone, including signage. We even recommend on the entrance to your buildings and areas to put signage, the types of practices you're following, so you can tell your employees and your visitors and your guests and your customers. Screen employees for the COVID-19 symptoms at the start of work. Be aware of employees at higher risk. Clean and disinfect the facility according to CDC guidance, and ensure that your sick leave policies are flexible and consistent with the state and federal law. Again, there are some policies with this COVID-19 you should be aware of, and we suggest you talk to your HR professional and/or labor law folks. Next slide, please. Worker screening, questions asked returning workers, again, to make sure you're being safe and they're coming back in a safe environment. You can ask these questions: fever and chills, cough, shortness of breath. You can see them on the screen here. Is anyone in your immediate household with COVID-19 infection? Have you had any close contact with them, 6 feet for at least 15 minutes? And have you had positive tests for COVID-19? Again, temperature checks are not required, but are helpful. And then you can do that on a daily basis if you think that's helpful and desirable. Next slide, please. This is available. You can see the place to download this. We recommend, again, posting on your doorway. Here are the steps you're taking and to prevent people from coming in who may be sick or exposed to COVID-19. Again, this is something you can put on a doorway. Next slide. So golfing. Golfing is able to be resumed, as you know, and you can see the league, clinic camps, organized activities have to be suspended still. Congregation areas, pro shops, clubhouse, locker rooms, beverage carts are still closed. Practice facilities open, but with social distancing protocols in place. Approved pairings may ride in properly sanitized carts. Again, those are family members can ride together. Groups of 4 can either walk or single riders in a sanitized golf carts. And then frequent cleaning of facilities and carts per CDC guidelines. And again, the state has best practices guidelines. When you get this PowerPoint, you can click on that link and it'll take you to that. Next slide, please. Recreational boating and marinas. A lot of these follow the same general guidelines. So no more than 10 people on a boat at one time, including captain and crew. If you're into boat races, I guess you're authorized to do so. No more than 10 people in a gathering at one time. Marinas can reopen to boaters. And then there's best management practices, the Departments of Commerce and Health. And you can read about the pump out stations, maybe resume operations. Again, best management practices. Boat ramps are open. The state boat ramps are open, but ramps must ensure social distancing and all normal boating rules and regulations are in effect. Next, please. Youth sports. This has been a big topic of questions, and we'll hopefully get some more questions here. And we have some frequently asked questions we will talk about. And again, you can type the questions in the chat as we go. Outdoor youth sports may resume following with the appropriate guidelines. Limited low contact outdoor practices focused on individual skill building versus competition. Limited group sizes under 10 people. This includes the coaches. Limited touching of shared equipment and gear, and the ability to engage in physical distancing while not actively engaged in the practice. Again, there's more guidelines here. The key is still practice social distancing. If you have a ball team and you have 10 in left field, 10 in right field, you're probably fine. But again, it's keep the social distancing in place. Next slide, please. Youth day camps. Outdoor activities, youth day camps may resume with the following guidance. Again, fewer than 10 or fewer individuals in a group. Daily COVID symptom checks for youth camp staff and campers. No out-of-state or overnight campers will be permitted. And physical distancing and masks will be required for all staff and campers. There's some age requirements in there. I think over the age of 9, they suggest wearing masks if you're within the 6 feet of each other. Under the age of 9, not. Next, and we do have a question, we'll come back to that. Next one, thank you. Outdoor pools, all pools may reopen. Again, the strict safety guidelines, 25% capacity restrictions, strict physical distancing and sanitation measures. Patrons, this is important, have to be sign in and sign out, and all pools are required to post signage warning anyone who is sick not to enter. And again, there's some good directives about more specificity here for the outdoor pools. Next slide. Camping, again, guidance on social distancing must be followed. No parties or reservations more than 10 people will be granted at any one site. Next slide. If you're into these areas, hunting, trapping, fishing, again, social distancing, no more than 10 people in a group in one party, and then all normal state rules and regulations are in effect. Next slide. Now, we went through those quickly because we wanted to leave time for questions. Danielle, is there another slide that has some frequently asked, or is that the last slide? Okay. Go back to that last slide if there's questions. I did see one question here. It says, is the county using any types of waivers for children participating in youth camps or other types of activities? So I don't know if we have anyone on the call that can address that question. If not, we'll get back to you on that. So is the county using any types of waivers for children participating in youth camps?
This is Jamie Dick with Parks and Rec. We do have a waiver that they sign. We're actually revising our waiver, working with our legal department. So obviously update what the recent conditions are.
Great. Jamie, would you at some point send that out via your either Danielle or someone else to us? We'll post it as well, but we'll share that if that's okay.
Okay. And our signups, Paul, have been really positive. Obviously, with the limited amount that we're allowed to take. For instance, over at Marty Snook, we have 4 pavilions. So we're going to take 9 kids each pavilion. And right now we're close to 3 of the pavilions filling up already. So we're actually getting a waiting list. So that's a positive.
Excellent.
People do want to have their kids in day camp.
Great. Thank you, Jamie. Another question, how far do groups of 10 have to be separated by, i.e. at the lake, at campgrounds, at the beach, or sporting events? So again, Dr. Gavira, you're on the call, I believe. Dr. Gavira is with the health department, and if you're not unmuted, Dr. Gavira, I'm wondering if you have a thought on this. How far do groups of 10 have to be separated? Let's see here. I have another question here. For those who do not typically run outdoor camps, can we move our camps outdoors? Can we use our facilities for shelters? I'm trying to see if Dr. Gavir is on the call here.
Oh, in reading through the data, we'll see if Dr. Gavira has some different answers, but in reading through the information, I didn't see any specific guidelines as to how far the groups need to be apart. I think you want to use your best judgment in a lot of these in the spirit of the law and what it's trying to do. So, try to have some adequate distance there and just use your best judgment. If we find something specific, we'll let you know. I think that also in regard to the second question, can you move your camps outside? It doesn't really matter what you did prior to this. If you want to start a camp outside, you're certainly welcome to do so. It's just right now they are not allowing the indoor camps. So if you do want to resume your camp activities, you either have to, switch and become an outside person or hold off till what's allowed to do inside.
And then to follow up to that one, could the facilities be used for shelters? Again, my sense is if there's a thunderstorm or, you have to get people inside, you have to practice the social distancing. The same thing. If it's retail, probably half the amount of people in there allow for social distancing and having masks on when you're inside. And Dr. Gavir, if you're on a phone, if you hit *6, that'll unmute you. Anyone on a phone, *6 will unmute you, and then *6 will mute you again.
She's working on that, Paul.
Okay, perfect.
Technical issues. She texts. She's working on.
Okay, thanks. And then there's a question here.
I have her unmuted.
Yeah. Also another question. Let's see here. Am I correct understanding that indoor day camps are not permitted? That's our understanding at this time. Jim, do you have a different look at this as far as indoor camps or activities?
Now, at this time, indoor camps are not permitted.
Okay.
That I know of, yeah.
Another question, if 10 can be at one campsite and the campsite side by side, does it say 25 feet? I'm not sure I understand that question. So this is, if you ask this question, if you don't want to be, you can unmute yourself and ask the question to clarify it.
Yeah, the question's related to distance between groups of 10. And if at campsites, for example, 10 are allowed at a campsite, 2 campsites, or whatever the distance is between campsites, that seems to give some means that the health folks are comfortable with groups of 10 being side by side and I just estimated, maybe it's 25 feet, maybe it's 20 feet. I'm just trying to get a sense of, there's more than one group at the ocean, there's more than one group at the beach, so on and so forth. I'm just looking for guidelines, maybe a little more specific than adequate distance and common sense. And if not, that's how we'll interpret it as well.
Yeah. What we're suggesting, what we're hearing from our health officials is, practice safe distancing. If you're in close proximity, closer than 6 feet, wear a face mask. It would be important. Again, we want to, until we know a little bit more, control the spread and control any type of surge that might happen. And as we talked about at the beginning, we want to keep opening things up in a safe, responsible manner. And if we see a surge, if we see, the public and folks are not practicing the safe guidelines, that's going to set us all back. So we say use your common sense, 6 foot distancing. If you're in close proximity, wear masks. And then posted by Brittany at the county, director from the State Maryland Youth Camps. There is a link there that gives you a little bit more guidance and guidelines.
Paul?
Yes.
It's Deanna Gaviria. I apologize for being technically challenged.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm just weighing in that I agree with everything that's been said. I also have not seen specific guidance about separation of groups, but I totally agree with everything that's been said about observing safe distancing.
And I did see Maria Rubling on the call. She's the executive director for YMCA. Maria, I don't know if you have any guidance or suggestions based on what the YMCA has been doing with outdoor camps and outdoor activities.
So we are doing outdoor activities now for outdoor fitness classes. So we're limiting to 9 in a class with the instructor. We're under the pavilion. We technically, with the size of it and spacing, could do 2 groups, but we're sticking to 1, and we split the hour into 2 separate half hours so we can accommodate more people. We're also doing some dryland training for some of our athletes, 9 to 1 outside. Pickleball is outside. We also are using a COVID youth waiver for all our youth. Now, we are going to be running an indoor program in the summer because we're running it through MSDE, through the current program that we're doing right now. We're just expanding it. So we are under an MSDE license. So we're still under that. We're still under our essential childcare wing. So we're following all the guidelines of MSDE, where every group is in a separate 4-walled space. So every room that the camps can be in, each group is 9 with one teacher in a separate indoor space. So we started registration last night for that. And I agree with what Jamie's saying. I mean, some of our weeks where we can take maybe 70 kids already is halfway full within the first, and we were down last night because the website got crashed up a little bit because I guess so many people were trying to jump on it at one time. So people do want it. We're running it under the same safe guidelines we've been doing with our essential care for the last, almost 2+ months. So we're going to keep doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Again, if there's other questions, the main frequently asked questions are about social distancing, about making sure your employees and guests or customers don't have symptoms, and what if they do. So those are the main areas that have been a focus. And if we could, Danielle, I don't know, again, further on, you had on the slide deck, you had pushed some other information. Again, we have some other resources. COVID-19 Business Toolkit is over 30 pages of some great advice and great guidelines, some excellent resources. There are best practices by industry, not only in a booklet, but the Maryland Commerce, State of Maryland Commerce website. And we also, if you have not heard, have not applied, we have a Rise Up Washington Business Stabilization grant program. You can see here it's for businesses with fewer than 50 or fewer employees, under $5 million in annual sales, up to $10,000 grant. We have $8.9 million to be awarded first come, first served basis. This is open as of yesterday, 8 o'clock in the morning. It is a short application process. There are some financial forms you'll need. Everything's laid out at washcorises.net. Again, it's first come, first serve, and you can see the other guidelines there. You can see another resource, Maryland Back to Business, has a lot of very good guidance documents. FAQs here at maryland.gov for COVID-19 stats. The executive orders, if you want to see specifically what the governor has stated. The announcements, and again, guides and best practice for outdoor activities. And you can see on the chat that we're sending out the links to the slide deck today and also to the other resources. We will make this available after this webinar, in addition to you being able to look at it on your own. So, you know, as I say with meetings and webinars, we'll spend as much time on this as you like, and everyone's really busy with other meetings, other webinars, and getting your business ready. That's what we have prepared for you. You can see the links. You can email us. You can go to our respective websites for more information. We want to emphasize again, it's not just commerce or health, it's both. We know that you and your employees and customers have concerns about safety. We share them with you. We also know that we need to get our businesses and organizations back open. We need to get people back to work so that we can get Washington County moving forward again. We're working with our elected officials, with our local health department and Marinas Hospital to make sure we're following the guidelines and we're able to move as quickly as we can that makes sense for our community. And so we certainly appreciate your work with us, and no question is not a good question. Let us know. And Dr. Gavira, if there's anything else you'd like to add, the floor is yours.
Nothing other than we are here to provide guidance whenever. Anyone can contact us, either our clinical division. We can field most questions, either the clinical division or the environmental health division usually have the answers, and if not, we can reach out to MDH and other agencies to find out. So I would just encourage people to contact us if they have questions going forward.
Also, if you're inclined, you can unmute yourself and ask a question verbally. You don't have to chat it. So we want to make sure we get to everyone. So if you have a question that you don't want to type it out or you don't want to put it in the chat, now's the time. You can unmute yourself and just ask, and hopefully we'll have it to a point where we can take turns. So we'll give us another minute if you'd like to ask a question verbally versus the chat room. You know, I did see, I have seen a couple local gyms that have set up in the parking lots, and they've put cones up and they're practicing safe social distancing guidelines, you know, 10 or fewer, including the instructor. So there is activity going on outside. There appears to be a pent-up demand. And again, we want to do this safely and want to make sure that we're managing the health of everybody. We'll give this another 30 seconds, either for a chat. Let me see, I see 2 more chats. Let's see if there are questions here. No other questions in the chat room. Any other questions people are interested in? Otherwise, we'll make this presentation available, and we'll also make the links available for you for more guidelines and more information.
Paul,
Jim, anything you'd like to add? Go ahead, Jim.
just before we leave, I just let everybody know to continue to watch the news as far as when the state may open up the next stage. As the numbers continue to do well, they're going to continue to open up different aspects of the Road to Recovery plan. We're going to follow that and try to get that information out as quickly as we can on the washgorises.net website. So check back on that as well. And as you put your plans together, if there are some gray areas, again, use your best judgment. There isn't any COVID police that are out checking and measuring sticks and things like that. We all need to do what's right for the safety of our citizens as well as for our businesses, and try to find that right balance. But use your best judgment based on the spirit of the law. If there's something gray, there's a ton of information out there with specific guidelines. If you don't see it in the guidelines, just keep moving forward. We know people have to get going and get open, and we want them to do that. And if you have any questions, reach out to any of us, and we're happy to try to look that information up for you.
And we've had a number of questions about liability for businesses and for individuals. If you are following the guidelines, if you are training your employees, if you're training your staff, if you're using, face masks, you're supposed to be using face masks, if you're cleaning your businesses correctly on a regular basis, your liability drops dramatically. And so, part of limiting your liability and also make sure we stay healthy is to follow the guidelines. And as Jim said, if you have questions, let us know. And I saw Susan on a call, I saw Dan on a call. I don't know if you two would like to add anything based on our work together, Dan or Susan.
Hey guys, this is Susan here. Just want to say thanks for putting this together for us. We're busy like little worker bees working on all the grants, applications, and everything coming in. But if you have any questions about your business reopening or any guidelines or anything in terms of the Rise Up application, we encourage you to reach out to us at riseup@washco-md.net, or you can reach us at 240-313-2288, and we're happy to put that on an email to the chamber to ship out. But otherwise, thanks again, Paul, and we're here if anybody needs us.
Thanks. Dan?
Yeah, Paul, I don't have much to add other than to say I'm closely monitoring what state and national parks are doing, and I'm hoping to get some very positive news from them soon. They still have all their buildings, facilities closed, and they're still not doing any programming. And I'm hoping we see a change in that by mid-June. That would really help open up our tourism market a lot and give us a lot more to do outdoors.
Thank you. And Jamie, anything else you'd like to add before we close up here?
Yeah, just we're working towards getting our pool ready. Hopefully we'll get it open here next few weeks. We had to get rid of our, we canceled our sports league, which was really disappointing that we do over at the college. Obviously we can't be in New York, so that's going to affect us. We had a lot of kids in that league, 48 teams. We had about 600-700 high school kids in there. So we're not doing sports leagues, but just like what Maria said, we're going to be doing outdoor fitness classes. We got a whole host of them that we got set up. You'll see that within the next week. A lot of people are excited about that. And a lot of people are using the parks, and that's a good thing. But just like Dan was saying, you're kind of limited in your programming. But hopefully in phase 2, we'll be able to start doing a little bit more things.
Thank you, Jamie. And again, I'll end with, we can all be good examples. We're leaders in the community, whether it be our business or organization. So I think we can set the right example and follow the guidelines and be resources. So with that, we'll end this webinar. Thank you for being on here. Thank you for our guests for participating. And with that, we'll end this call. Thanks.